telling me that I shouldn't be concerned about my blackness. I should be more concerned about being a child of God. And I didn't know how to wrestle with it. 4 years later, he walked away. I just no longer wanted anything to do with the faith community at all. Well, for someone in a religious community, we examine it in our church. We have preaching messages, passion and prayer. And I maximize the gifts that we know that we have. I make it justify it daily. And
Hello, 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 everyone.
hello.
Hello, how are you? We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. My co host will be joining us shortly, um, but we're glad that you are able to join us. I'm Nuji, aka Nancy.
Cousin Skip.
All right. So today, you want to start us off, Cousin Skip?
Well, today we thought we would explore the topic of vaccines. And there are so many facets of this vaccine rollout that it's not possible to answer all of the questions or deal with all of the issues that are relevant with the vaccines. So we thought we would do a podcast, take your questions, and if you have information that you would like to offer, whether or not you've had the shots, if you've had any reactions from them, or just what your experience is, or what your reasons are for not wanting to take the vaccines. We'd be happy to hear from you.
All right. All right. So, Cousin Skip, first things first, did you get the vaccine?
I did not.
Okay, neither did I. Neither did I. So, what are some of your reasons for what not getting it? Is it are you you're not a conspiracy theorist, so I'm sure that wasn't the reason.
I am not a conspiracy theorist. I didn't. I was offered the Johnson and Johnson vaccine by the VA. However, prior to that time, I was getting ready to undergo a surgery. So I didn't want to introduce anything new into my body during that time. So that's one of my major reasons for not having gotten any vaccine.
Hmm. So now, well, I guess it might be a good thing you didn't get Johnson and Johnson because they're having some issues right now.
Exactly.
So, and I think it's from my understanding, it's specific to a plant in Baltimore that had a defective batch or something like that. At least that's where the people that had the adverse blood clots, I believe it was,
Mhm.
it came from that particular facility. I have not gotten a vaccine because I've actually been on the fence quite a bit. I don't have a problem with how fast they created the vaccine because I mean COVID's been around for for forever. This particular strain is what's new. So of course they didn't have to start from ground zero. So that wasn't really my concern. I'm not a big medicine person. So I'm always looking at the side effects. You know what I mean? Like, is anybody going to be glowing in the dark in like 30 days? You know, I'm trying to see what's going to happen. So, but I don't know. On the fence, but I will be getting my mom vaccinated though. So, that's for sure. She's 73 and in a high risk category. So I don't know.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Hmm.
However, I am very apprehensive about the efficacy of any of the vaccines
Yeah.
because the rollout was too quick, and there just hasn't been enough time to properly evaluate its effectiveness. They don't even know how often or how long, rather, the vaccine lasts. There's speculation that it may last up to 6 months, and you'll need a booster. You'll need another shot.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
one, the J&J shot, based upon how it's made, would actually be the preferable shot,
Right.
but
Right.
its efficacy, is one in three. That's not something I'm inclined to have very much faith or hope in. Uh,
Right. Right.
that's shooting in the dark, and I have far too many um, prior issues to
Hmm.
take this vaccine.
Yeah. Understood. I know that they tested. I want to say Moderna. I think it was Moderna, and I'll fact check myself in a second, but I think it was Moderna that it might have been Moderna and Pfizer that they were testing to see just what you said, how long you would have protection. And I think based on that study, they said 6 months, kind of like the flu shot. So that's what for those two. Now Johnson and Johnson, I'm not sure. The other thing I found quite interesting was that after the first dose of Pfizer, you actually have up to 60% protection. And then after the second dose, you have 95%. Where Moderna, I didn't see anything about, after that first shot, if in fact you have any protection or anything like that. So I don't know. Johnson and Johnson would have been my preferred because like once and done. But then, everybody started getting blood clots. So I was like, oh,
Well, it's important to note that even though they paused the Johnson and Johnson vaccine,
right,
there have been approximately 7 million doses administered.
right,
There
right.
have
So,
only been 6 instances of clots.
oh, so
Right.
that's really minuscule in comparison.
It's very low, but the
Okay.
point that, AstraZeneca, with its issues, and it's made in the same way that J&J is made. It's a viral vaccine. So,
Right.
AstraZeneca had the issues, and then J&J comes along with the same issues, even though it's a very small representative example of people who've received the vaccine. There's similar issues.
Now I know that there's a particular component that comes from the Netherlands that's it's part of the manufacturing of the Johnson and Johnson vaccine. That that component is what was defective or something like that in the mix, which is called the problem. And I was like, okay, we got stuff coming from the Netherlands. Wait a minute. I thought it was all, yeah, I don't know. And I know some people will say, well, we don't know what's in the vaccine. Well, we know what's in cigarettes and y'all still smoke them. You know what's in hot dogs and you still eat them. So that argument is kind of like, I, I
Well,
mean,
it's a psychological thing when you're injecting stuff into people's bodies. Um,
well,
there are
some
many
people,
people who have religious concerns about whether or not there's fetal embryos, fetal tissue, or what
yeah,
have you being used in the vaccines. And well, the viral vaccine is definitely that. In fact, it says the Johnson and Johnson vaccine did use fetal cell cultures, and it's
That's news to
specific,
me. Oh God.
uh, and it says it's a retinal cell that was isolated from a terminated fetal fetus in 1985.
Whoa.
This is a tissue that was saved from that long. And they are still using cells from aborted fetuses from decades ago
Oh
to
yeah,
make
nah. Mm-mm.
vaccines and other kinds of medicines. But it's not the actual embryo that was actually aborted. It's an offshoot from that particular embryo. Mhm.
Oh, but the only thing people hear is embryo.
It's related cell tissue. This is a very complicated thing, which
Wow.
makes it all the more daunting for people to have confidence in taking these shots. The vaccines that are presumably the most effective is the newer technology on the market.
The
The,
mRNA
mhm,
protein.
that's the newer technology.
Right, right, right,
Mhm. It's more effective, but in two doses. J
right,
and J, if they had, who knows why it's not as effective as it should be. Maybe
right.
their need to rush to market had something to do with it.
Yeah.
But viral vectors and viral vaccines are preferable,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and people are particularly interested in it because it is a one-time vaccine.
Right, right. That
Mhm.
was my reasoning. Because
But there are too many unknowns about all of them, and it's still the fact that the CDC and the FDA are recommending that you still wear masks to protect yourself, and because you don't know if you've been fully vaccinated, if you are carrying the the germ, if you're carrying the COVID bug, and if you're actually distributing that to people unknowingly. So
right,
this
right,
is a very difficult proposition. They were
right,
saying, well, you can go and be around your family and you can be more comfortable if you're around people who've been fully vaccinated, but who knows what.
right, right. And then I just read well actually someone mentioned that they went to the State Department. It was in Virginia, so they went to Virginia State Department and registered through the health department, Virginia Health Department, and the health department told them that that's the preferred way to register to get vaccinated is through the health department because if you get vaccinated through like your CVS, your Giant, and your grocery stores, there's no record in the system of you being vaccinated.
Is
You
that
might have a
right?
card. That's what they told her. Um, I don't know how true that is. I would think they would have to keep a record,
They would have
CVS
to
or
turn
whomever.
those records over, right? Because they're
Right,
getting
because
doses of the vaccine.
exactly, 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 exactly. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I guess, on the flip side of the coin is, there's been so many people that have died from COVID. Some people are like, getting the vaccine is better than being on a ventilator. Now, granted, everybody that's gotten COVID has not been on a ventilator. There are a tremendous amount of people that have survived COVID. My father, my stepmother, my nephew, actually, my brother-in-law, to just name a few that I know directly that have survived it. But then I have friends that have lost people due to COVID. So it's almost like it's a gamble, and it's really based on how
Not
your
all
body
hope.
responds.
It's a gamble.
Yeah, it's how your body responds. There was and keep in mind my parents, my father and my stepmother, they're in their 70s. And my stepmother has a respiratory situation, and it didn't even affect her respiratorily, but it affected my dad respiratorily, and he doesn't have any respiratory issues. So it really depends, and it's a gamble. And I think there are a lot of people that survived it that, of course, that wasn't as saturated through the news as the people that lost their lives.
Sure.
And I get it in a sense, because you want to bring awareness of what's the impact and what's actually going on. But at the same time, there were people frozen, just frozen. Nobody wanted to move, because it just seemed like if you breathe, you're going to die. You know what I mean? It was all these different things. So, I don't know. Viewers, what do you guys think? Chat with us. We can see all your chatting and your feedback. So just, contact us via chat on any of the streams any of the platforms rather that we're live streaming on. We want to hear what you have to say. Now I know, okay, let me just preface it by saying, I know there are going to be some conspiracy theorists that are going to have something to say. All I'm asking is that you come with some facts, some documented facts. That's all I'm asking. So, anyway, so what do you think? Okay, so this is another big issue that I've been hearing about. A lot of people in the African American community are very hesitant because of the Tuskegee experiment. What happened in that situation,
and various other experiments.
Right. Maybe you can speak to that. The other experiment. I've only heard people talk about the Tuskegee experiment, and my thing was, with the Tuskegee experiment, rather, they were denied a vaccine. You know what I mean? They were denying treatment. So when people say, well, I don't want to get the vaccine because, the Tuskegee experiment, that's what happened. No, they were actually denied the vaccine. If you don't want to take the vaccine, you at least have the option to take the vaccine. You don't have nobody watching you to see how you respond. You know what I mean? To a formality.
Well, I think in terms of Black people's experience with the medical community in general, okay, mm-hmm. Not only have we been experimented on and had cures withheld, but our ongoing experience in the medical community regarding access, treatment, medical communities thinking about our ability to be able to pay or not. Their insensitivity to the Black community's medical needs. This is just an ongoing situation that makes the African American community distrustful of the medical community. This is not just the Tuskegee experiment, but this is an ongoing situation. In fact, when there is a discussion today about African American soldiers that died in France, who have never been, whose names have never been known, recognized, any effort been made to identify these people. So this is just an ongoing part of the African American experience in American medical culture and in society in general. So our mistrust is just an ongoing feature of our lives in American society. But just in reference to the COVID vaccines itself, there are a lot of scientists and people who are saying, well, it's better to have it than not have it. But when you go out onto the websites and you look at the multitude of issues or things that you may experience from getting the vaccines, and they'll tell you this is not an exhaustive list. There hasn't been enough study of the reactions in the vaccine for them to know. So I don't really have all that much trust with you
Hmm.
trying out scientists and medical people telling me it's safer to have it than not have it, because I don't even know what you're basing that on. There's
Right,
there's
right,
certainly
right, right.
not very much evidence to support what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. And even like the flu vaccine. A lot of people, there's a lot of people that I know that still have never taken the flu vaccine. I mean, I took it one time and I got really sick. Now, granted, what my doctor said is you could have been coming down with the flu and not had not have known it. And it just, so I can't say it was the vaccine or it wasn't, but I just know when I took it, I literally felt like a truck just plowed right through me. So that was the last of my flu vaccine. Never took it again. Um, and I haven't had the flu, God willing. So anyway, yeah. So I mean, it's, and then, the other thing is, it's kind of, I know someone had mentioned to me that they took the vaccine because for once they felt like the African American community, the Black and Brown community, was finally considered. You know what I mean, in the forefront in terms of making sure that the vaccine was readily available. Whereas before, they felt like we were always the last to get it, and they felt like they were made a priority, I guess, in essence is what they thought, that they were finally made a priority. And so they took it. And I don't know, I know several people that took the vaccine. No one that I know has had any adverse side effects, aside of feel like, the second dose, feeling like you got a slight cold or some chills or something like that. Nobody that I know has gotten anything really crazy. I only know, and I know someone that's gotten the Pfizer, the Moderna, and Johnson and Johnson. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Well,
know.
and okay, this is a partial list of some of the reactions that people have. There's difficulty breathing, swelling of your face and throat,
Oh
fast
God.
heartbeat, bad rash all over your body, dizziness and weakness, severe
Okay.
allergic reactions, non-severe allergic reactions, muscle pain, headache, tiredness, injection site swelling, injection site redness, nausea, feeling unwell, swollen lymph nodes, diarrhea, vomiting, arm pain. It's just
Jesus.
on and on.
Wait, are
Um,
these rare side effects? Or are these
these are not
common?
rare. These are some of the side effects that have been reported. So if they've been reported, they're not rare.
I mean, but okay, just to play devil's advocate, but they say that if even if it's one, it has to be reported. So is there a number on, you know what I mean? Is there a percentage of people that experience? I know one thing I've heard that's been consistent is fever, chills, and all of that. So um, Miss Tia Grandiva Hunt says, all right, that sounds like every medicine commercial on TV every day. That's real true. Because how many times have you watched the TV and they tell you about a medication, and by the time they tell you all the side effects, you're like, forget it. Could cause hallucination, thoughts
Could
of
cause
suicide. I
death.
mean, right. And this is just and I'm just using this as an example. And this could be a cholesterol medicine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's a very valid point. That's a very valid point.
It's an extremely go on.
It's a very valid point. And I'll say in my own experience, I've had allergic reactions to medication that's been around forever. And other people um, have taken the same exact medication, and I've taken the lowest dosage and had allergic reaction. So I think it just depends on your body, it depends on your body. But that's a really, really good point. That's a really good point. Someone says,
Her
Cousin Skip,
name
you're
is
gonna help me out
Belinda
because I don't have no glasses.
Nicholson.
Huh?
Her name is Belinda Nicholson.
Okay, she says, I don't want to take it really. Why is that, Belinda? Expound on why you don't want to take it. Is it The side effects, what is it? I mean, you don't, okay, so you don't really have to tell us if you don't want to, but I just thought I'd ask. Everybody has their own reason.
I can understand anybody's apprehension about not wanting to take it. I mean, even though the flu shot is typically only about 60 some odd percent effective as well, this is not a vaccine that was trotted out in 3 months, and it's tweaked every season.
Because of the variants.
Right. And just based on the number of people in the United States that have been polled in general, almost 50% of Americans are testing to either be doubtful about taking it or have admitted they're not going to take it. Well, that probably shoots a great big hole in their herd immunity thing, because you're never going to reach herd immunity at that rate. And then on the backside of that, they're talking about, well, if you don't hurry up and reach herd immunity, you're going to have another pandemic all over again. Just where are we?
Right.
We don't have enough sound information about these vaccines to make anybody comfortable or certain anyway about taking them. I certainly appreciate the apprehension.
Right. Tia says, where's the apprehension about getting COVID? Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
So I think, Tia, if you can expound on that, I don't want to assume. I think I know where you're going with it, but if you can expound on that just a little bit, it'd be great. Yeah. I think, honestly, that no matter what medication you take, it is a gamble. It really is based on, it really depends on how your body reacts. Like, for example, I can't take ibuprofen. I'm allergic to ibuprofen. I wasn't before, but as an adult, I became allergic to ibuprofen. Don't know how, don't know why. And that's a regular pain relieving pill. So I think it depends on your body. But like you said, I definitely appreciate people's apprehension, because people are fearful of the unknown. You're just fearful of what you don't understand and what you don't know. And then when you feel like there's not enough information to kind of squash that anxiety, you know what I mean? It makes it worse. It makes. Go ahead. No, I was done.
I think if I understand the lady's question. Okay. I thought I understood her question. The apprehension about getting COVID is the isolation that people have willingly undergone over the past year to avoid getting it. People's willingness to put on masks and go out when they need to go out. People's willingness to restrict seeing their loved ones and their relatives, and even isolating themselves from their family members within their own households. So these are all apprehensions, I think, or evidence of apprehension about getting COVID. I'll speak for myself personally. I have not done anything remotely resembling having a social life since this pandemic began. I go out, I wear my mask. I don't be randomly touching stuff. I don't be touching people. I don't let people breathe on me. I don't breathe on anybody. I'm very cautious during this process. Even if I had taken the shot, I would still be wearing masks and doing the same thing that I've been doing for the past year.
Right.
I think much of the cause for people's apprehension about this vaccine is that there have been over 500,000 people die from COVID.
Yeah.
And this vaccine, it came to market too quickly. There are way too many unknowns about it, for people to be comfortable about just saying, okay, well, let's go. I'll volunteer.
But
God bless you.
but wasn't I mean, but the Ebola virus, that was the quick turnaround. Hey, our co-host is joining. Woo woo! Hey, Mr. Bethia.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, what's going on? I don't know what's going on with the system or what's going
Yeah.
on with it, but this is a lot of bullshit. This is a whole lot of bullshit. I don't have time for this. I really don't. This shit is really pissing me off.
Okay. What were you saying, Cousin Skip?
Well, the point I was making was that, Mel,
I had no point to make.
Okay, go ahead, Cousin Skip.
the point I was making was that because, I'm not familiar with the Ebola vaccine and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I am familiar about with the severity of it.
Right.
And how quickly it devastated communities and populations.
And SARS, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It seemed like there was I don't know, it seemed like it, because when Ebola hit, it seemed like that turnaround was quick because it was, it was devastating people like immediately. There was half the people, there was no time to get on the ventilator. You got it, and by the time they realized you got it, you were gone, which is unfortunate. So, Mel, what's your take on the vaccine? You plan on getting it?
You either get it or you don't. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind.
Oh, okay, cool. So not caller. So, if the audience, if you want to reach out to us via the streaming platforms, YouTube and Facebook and Twitch, feel free to do so. We will showcase your question, and maybe we can dialogue about it. Okay. Do you know what the toll has been in your community, Cousin Skip? In terms of, because COVID is resurging again, by the way. It's resurging again.
It is resurging in New York. And New York State has been like ground zero for this thing,
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So, I mean, living in near Syracuse, the incidence of COVID in central New York it's pretty high and it's pretty steady. Now it hasn't been as high as New York City,
Mm-hmm.
but it's continuous, and people it's continuing to. There is a resurgence of it, and now that there's a new strain, there is no evidence of what the vaccines will do for the new strains. This is just it's a mess, How can you have confidence in it when you don't know what it does, what it will do, what its drawbacks are, and that kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, I know that they said that the Johnson & Johnson will fight against us because there's two strains. There's one from out of the UK and then there's one in South Africa. They said the Johnson & Johnson will hold up against both of them, the UK and the South African one. The other two, I don't know if they've even tested it on those particular strains. I do know Johnson & Johnson, they said that one will hold up to these different variants. But with it popping up again, there may be some more variants popping up. So then,
and I'm not even sure how they could say that with any confidence. What kind of testing have they done to confirm that? Unless they know that whatever is found in the new strain is also being combated in the form of the virus that's been put out by Johnson and Johnson.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
As for Juan, I think I'm gonna hold on for a minute.
You gonna wait to see who glows in the dark?
Well, I'm diabetic. I have high blood pressure and high cholesterol. I got a lot of issues.
Yeah.
I'm not really feeling in the guinea pig vein right now. I'm not feeling real confident about that.
Yeah, and I know when I pre-registered my mom because she has a lot of comorbidities too, and they ask you those questions, because
Right.
you know, even down to if you got Alzheimer's, if you got any type of neurological issues, they ask those questions too. So I don't know. I think to each his own. I think if people decide to get it, that's their choice. If people don't decide to get it, that's their choice. I don't think you know. People should be taken to task, because they decide to get it. And I think there was someone in one of the hospitals who works in a hospital that deliberately destroyed some Pfizer vaccines on purpose because he was, I guess, anti-vaccine. So he destroyed like a bunch of, which I think is crazy. If people should have the choice, right? Just like they should have it for the flu vaccine. The other thing is, I was reading somewhere that they're thinking about having people show their vaccination card to travel and to go certain places, like
Right.
public transportation and some other stuff, which I think is a little crazy. It's a little crazy. How do you police that?
I
It's,
think right now it's a big ask by
yeah,
the medical community. They're asking people to trust these vaccines and take them based upon the word of the medical and scientific community.
right.
And hopefully, enough people will take these vaccines that herd immunity will be reached, and the likelihood of a new pandemic beginning will be decreased.
Yeah,
There is some merit in that. I don't disavow that. There's
yeah,
some merit in it. I'm just probably not going to be one of them.
yeah. Well, you can't have herd immunity without a vaccine.
Right.
You have to have both of them. So people that are yelling, let's just get herd immunity, that you can't do that without a vaccine.
You need
So
75 to 80% of the people in your population vaccinated.
right, and who knows what that? Do you happen to know? I was on the CDC's website, but I could not find how many people, because they had a target, right, to have a certain amount of people vaccinated by a certain time. Last I knew that they were ahead of that, ahead of the deadline that they were giving themselves. I think they were giving themselves May or something like that. Do you have any idea how many people have been vaccinated?
Well, according to the Biden plan, he was hoping to have the United States vaccinated by the end of May.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Now, that's based on everybody who wants a vaccination and who's willing to take it. But right now, we're way below reaching herd immunity.
Yeah,
Right
now we
now,
have the resurgence.
I think there have been, 25 million people fully vaccinated. And
That's a drop in the bucket.
right. And we
That's a
need
drop in the bucket.
75 to 80% of the population vaccinated. And there are too many variables and valid reasons, actually, why people are not getting vaccinated. Some reasons probably more valid than others, but who's to say what?
Right.
I have my reasons. Many listeners might think those aren't really valid reasons either. Go get a
Yeah.
friggin' shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you heard of any conspiracy theories? I mean, I've heard everything from 5G to the nano chip to putting something in the water. I've heard so many, and
I don't give a lot of I don't give a lot of attention to conspiracy theorists. That's
yeah,
that's time that I don't want to utilize in that
right,
way.
right, right. But the only reason I brought that up because there are people that are on the fence, legitimately, like you said, that are on the fence, that for whatever reason, won't do their own research. And then you have these conspiracy theorists coming in. And then next thing you know, it takes on a life all of its own, you
Right.
know, which is, to me, I think a lot of it's not founded in facts, but that's just my opinion. I think it's crazy. If you don't want to take it, you don't want to take it. If you're not sure what's in it and you don't want to take it, don't take it. There's no nanochip. And if the government wanted to do mind control, I think they could have figured out another way than a vaccine, you know? So, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Mel, do you have anything to say about it?
No, not at all.
So are you going to be taking the vaccine, Mel?
I doubt it.
Ever?
I doubt it. It's not, I don't believe it takes years to develop a vaccine. So them doing this overnight, I know they did it backwards. I know they did it ass backwards. So for me to go in there and rush up in there and get a shot that only took them maybe 6 or 7 months to do, no, it's not for me.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'd rather wear the mask and, you know, distance myself from people and all that.
Yeah. I think that Johnson & Johnson took longer. You know, they seem to have gone through a longer process, I guess. You know, so I don't know.
I don't know if the process is longer or not, because this has only been out for a year, and it takes like 10 years for a vaccine. If you look up how long it took for them to do the polio vaccine, it took a damn near 10 years, 20 years to do a polio vaccine for them to eradicate it. So how you going to just eradicate this like in less than 7 months and come up with some type of vaccine that works? It just doesn't work that way. We're not that smart as human beings.
Well,
Yeah.
the AstraZeneca, not AstraZeneca, but the Pfizer and the
Moderna,
they were the first two approved,
right?
and they were approved fairly quickly.
They were approved for emergency use initially.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
How they determined 95% effectivity and that kind of thing, you know, their test pools have been very small, you know. So that's what the analysis has been based on. I mean, some of these test pools have been as small as 1,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that 1,000 people have been receiving placebos. So this is a very small example to be garnering confidence from, you know?
Right.
The age range, I mean, right now, they're recommending, I think it's Moderna for youngsters from 12 up, something to that effect, you know? I'm not sure if I was a parent, I'd let my 12-year-old take that shot, but then that's just me.
Nancy, are you taking the shot?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. One day I'm a yes, the next day I'm a no. So I don't know.
It's a crapshoot.
I don't.
You pay
Well,
your
and
money and you take your chances.
I think honestly, for me, I don't like needles, period. That's probably one of the main reasons I won't take it. I'm on the fence. But the second thing is, like I said earlier, I don't have an issue with the timing in which they created the vaccine, because like I said, COVID has been around forever. It's been around forever. This particular strain is what's new. And that's why it's the novel coronavirus is new. So they didn't have to do what they would have done for the polio vaccine, because polio was never around before. So yeah, that's going to take a long time. But I think, just from my understanding, they built on a platform that was already there, and then built it up to hopefully combat this particular strain. And to your point, cousin Skip, they will, as strains keep coming, it'll have to be tweaked, just like the flu vaccine.
Right.
So I don't know.
You think COVID has been around for a long time,
Not this
Um,
strain, not 19, not 19.
okay, well, okay, 19 hasn't been around. So when she turns 21 and 22 and 23 and 24 and 25, what do you do then? Do you keep taking shots?
Well, yeah,
Are they telling you how long these shots are going to last? Is it going to last for 6 months? Is it going to last for 3 months? Is it going to last for 2 months? How long is it going to last? Is it going to last like the polio shot did? You just get it one
mm-mm,
time. You don't get it. You don't get it no more. You just had that marker on your arm for the rest of your life.
right,
Um, so it's so many different ways and so many. And me, as being African American, I got to tell many blacks to die first. Um,
yeah,
because I don't trust the government when it comes down to dealing with dealing with my kind or dealing with people who look like me when it comes down to it. And
yeah,
that's just the bottom line. And I know there's been a lot of people like our vice president. She stepped up and took her shot, and some guy that works for FDA, he got up and took his shot. He's a black guy, head guy there. He got him, took his shot. Good for you. And they got to toe tag everybody. That's what I always tell people. They got to toe tag everybody. So we'll just see how it works. But I don't believe that one thing cures all for everybody. Just like the polio vaccine, a lot of those kids came out with autism and different things like that after they had the polio shot. So my thing about it is that this one thing doesn't fix everything for everybody. It just doesn't
right.
work that way. So I don't know. I don't,
What I like, go
just
ahead.
give me a mask. Just give me a mask, and I'll stay back.
Yeah. Well, I think what, like me and cousin Skip were talking about earlier, they did test Pfizer and Moderna in terms of how long the vaccination lasts, and they determined that it lasts 6 months, which is pretty much the equivalent to the flu vaccine. Um, and as the variants come, they're going to have to tweak it. It's the same as they do the flu vaccine. I mean, this COVID-19, like you said, 20 might show up, or 21 might show up, but they have to tweak 19 to combat 20.
And
So
then my thing about it is that how is that going to coincide with your system? Will 21 disrupt your system, your immune system? Because all these are man-made drugs. So my thing about it is that will COVID-19, the vaccine that we get, will when we get to 21 and 22, will those vaccines disrupt our system in some kind of way? It's going to shorten your life in some kind of way because it's not natural. So, you
but then
know,
we take but then we take, so here's the flip side of that coin. I understand the apprehension people have about the vaccine, but we take other things, right? We take other things readily. And those other things are foreign and they're man-made also. But we take the aspirin, we take, NSAIDs, we take blood pressure medicine, we take cholesterol medicine. I mean, if you look at the side effects from, like, say, for example, metformin, um, from lisinopril, the heart blood pressure medicine. Some of the same symptoms that Cousin Skip read about the vaccine is the same symptoms that are associated with that particular medicine. And I can attest to that one particular medicine myself, because by day 2 I couldn't breathe. So I can attest to that. So I guess when we're talking about, it's man-made, I don't trust the government, this is not natural going in our body, which is all absolutely 1,000% true. But we take other things with no apprehension.
but
We
you
eat hot
just
dogs.
said,
We
but you just said you took a drug and you couldn't breathe, and I'm sure that same drug that you took, I'm
mm-hmm.
sure that they have prescribed it to somebody else,
They
and they probably
absolutely.
and they probably didn't have any problem at all with it.
Yep.
So,
Exactly, because I
so
take it.
Right.
exactly.
My sister, I have family members and friends that take the exact same dosage and everything. But I'm saying
Exactly. But I'm
it
just
depends
saying,
on
though,
your body.
everything isn't for everybody.
Right, right. So what I'm saying is, it's a gamble when we take those medicines too. It really is. It's a gamble, because when you see the advertisements, they say, do not take if you have an allergic reaction to the medication that's in this. Well, how do you know until you take it? You haven't you haven't even taken it. So I think
Well,
it's think it's a gamble, no matter
Well,
how we look.
I'd rather gamble on a crap table at the Bellagio than gamble in the alley in the street. So that's just my take on it.
But we're still. I guess my point is we're still gambling, whether it's the vaccine or whether it's medicine. We're still gambling. All of it's foreign to our bodies, and I think, like I said earlier, it really depends on how your body reacts to certain things. You may be totally unfazed by the vaccine, whereas somebody else may have some of them symptoms that Cousin Skip was talking about. So I think it's a personal choice. I think that with all things, you should get as much facts as you can, and again, even when you get facts, sometimes you got to kind of toss it up in the air and and take what lands. But I mean, I think it's a personal thing, and you don't know how it's going to affect you, if in fact it will affect you, till you do. So, I mean, how y'all eat hot dogs? I mean, I'm saying
In
that's
the final
probably
analysis,
more detrimental, huh?
in the final analysis regarding
Right.
these vaccines, your government is asking you to trust the science that you are being presented with,
Right.
and whatever residual data they've collected to this point, and be a good citizen and take this vaccine and help reach herd immunity and set an example for other people who may be apprehensive, and help get these shots into people so that we can try to get this thing done with. But we have no idea where we're going from here with this COVID-19 vaccines or any of the rest of it. We can believe and take a shot and see where it takes us.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think it's a personal choice. Because it has to be, because it's. I mean, I'm not begrudging it to anybody that takes it. If you take it, you don't take it. It's a personal choice. But I am getting my mom vaccinated. That's for sure. I'm definitely getting. She's 70 some years old, and she has enough issues at the moment.
Sure.
And there's no guarantee she's always going to keep her mask on. That's the other thing. So.
Right.
So that's the thing that I'm always concerned about. So I don't know. So I just have one. Go ahead. Would you say? No. I was going to say I just have one thing. Outside of the vaccine, I was going to share with you all a tip of the day. If you guys are okay with that, or if we want to wrap up the vaccine talk or not, or Mel, any last words concerning the vaccine? Other than it's not for me. Huh?
No, I mean, hey, do what you want to. It's your life.
Yeah, I just want to see who's glowing in the dark after it's all over. And I'm just joking. Cousin Skip, you got anything to say?
No, I made my last comment. You can be a good citizen and take the shot and hope that the efficacy will be what they say it is, so that we can reach herd immunity. Maybe in June or July, I'm going to feel better about taking it. I anticipate that I'm ultimately going to take it, but it won't be tomorrow.
Right. You just need to see. You need some more data.
Right.
Yeah. And as the months go by, it'll be more and more data.
Exactly.
I don't know. Anyway.
Like Tuskegee.
Well, see, but Tuskegee, they were denied treatment. It wasn't like they got treatment and had some crazy effects. They were denied treatment. Now, they were injected with something else, but
exactly. They were given syphilis and denied treatment.
Yeah,
they can get
so they got double whammy. They got double whammy. Mm-hmm.
And so you don't think that the government will double whammy you on this one too? Come on.
I don't know.
I mean, your opinion is not my opinion, and I would say my opinion is not the opinion of the Melanergy podcast show. Everybody has their own opinion.
That's a disclaimer.
I'm just putting that disclaimer out there for everybody. Right. My opinion is mine, and it's so. I don't do I trust the United States government? No, no, I don't. You did it once, you do it again.
Yeah, and that's the sentiment of a lot of people. I mean, people that I've talked to, that's the sentiment of a lot of people. Whether it's, I'm not gonna say whether it's true or not, because it is that person's experience. So,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and show the tip of the week. It's gonna be real short. For some of you cooks out there that's looking for a way to do a little marinade. So anyway, here we go. Hey, it's your girl Neji. Hey, listen, I just want to come on here real quick and give you the tip of the week. And that will be how to marinate your beef. Yes, your beef. Really simple. Really simple. And everybody probably has it in their home. Okay, some of you might not, but you can actually get it from a Starbucks. Okay? That secret ingredient is coffee. Yes, coffee. Coffee is exceptional when it comes to tenderizing beef. And what you want to do, you just want to make a cup of coffee, like you would do regular, cup of coffee right before you put the creamer in it. Don't use this after the creamer is put in it. It's not gonna work. Make your cup of coffee. Make a strong cup of coffee. You're gonna put the meat after you rinse it off. You're gonna put it in a container that has a lid. You're gonna take that cup of coffee that you made. You're gonna pour it over the meat that's in the container with the lid, and you want to add a couple leaves of bay leaf. If you don't have bay leaf, tarragon, which is one of my favorite spices. Tarragon works great. And also, you can just use regular parsley. You want to put some of that in the container, seal it, let it marinate overnight. If you don't have time to let it marinate overnight, go ahead and let it marinate in the refrigerator for a couple hours. Okay, once you're done that, take the meat out of the container and cook it up however you're going to cook it. It's going to be extra tender. The acidity in the coffee is going to tenderize that meat, and no, it will not taste like coffee. Okay, so that's your tip of the week. All right. Okay. So that's final words of the night. Everyone said their final words. Anything else? No, we're good.
To vaccinate or not, it depends upon.
That is the question.
You do what you feel so inclined. Yep. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us.
Yes. And feel free to send us a chat, send us some feedback. Cousin Skip, you want to give them the email address if they want to have any topic suggestions or reach out to us?
You can send your topic suggestions or comments to Wisdom Seeker, WISDOMSEEKER 1017 at gmail.com. Wisdom Seeker 1017 at gmail.com. We'd like to hear from you.
All right. Good night.
Good night. Thanks for joining.